and just drop to the ground to soften the blow would be perfectly acceptable. But he doesn't. He ducks and spins left. The defender stays on him in hot pursuit, and there's another right behind him. Wilson turns again, now running almost directly backward. He hits the 15-yard line, 13 yards from where the play began. Another half turn, and he's back at the 17-yard line, still dancing away. In big trouble, deadpans Fox television announcer Joe Buck. Another defender flies in and latches his arms around Wilson's legs, and as he starts to fall, he slings the ball across the field. Buck says how it looks for everyone watching. Just up for grabs. But it isn't. In the chaos, Wilson has somehow seen tight end Luke Wilson on the far side of the field, guarded, but open enough to score if he gets a good enough pass. Russell gives it to him. Wilson fights off a defender, catches the pass at the 1-yard line, and turns into the end zone. Everyone goes nuts. It's an all-time great, ridiculous clutch play. The Packers kick a field goal before time expires, and the game goes into overtime, where the first score wins. The Hawks get the ball first, but the Packers' kickoff coverage is strong and pins them deep at the 13-yard line. Lynch runs for 4 yards. Then Wilson throws to Doug Baldwin for 10 yards, which Lynch follows with another 4-yard run. And then Wilson gets sacked, sending them to 3rd down. Fail to convert, and they probably have to punt to the Packers. Wilson throws a 35-yard bomb, again to Baldwin. The next play, another bomb, also for 35 yards, and the game-winning touchdown. For those last few minutes, Wilson was perfect, drawing on deep reserves of preternatural calm and ruthless efficiency that have since become known as his hallmarks. His teammates like to say that he's probably half robot, and some of them sound like they're only half joking. Of all his strengths, this might be Wilson's most important. He is stunningly good at ruling his emotions instead of letting them rule him. When he was a late draft pick selected by a team that had recently spent a lot of money on another free agent QB, and when he was scorned for that, and when he became successful and people said he really wasn't that important to the Seahawks as they won the Super Bowl the year before, and when he threw all those interceptions against the Packers, he never got emotional. Maybe the most emotional he's been since he was drafted was after that comeback, when he wept. During that comeback, and particularly that incredible 2-point conversion, Wilson faced enormous pressure. And things spun out of control in a critical moment of a game during which he had struggled greatly. And yet, he never lost control of himself. He and his brain and his body were all in perfect sync, each helping the other, all of them working together. That scene is the epitome of good performance, and it's a perfect metaphor for this book. How did Wilson face that crushing adversity and still do that? That's beyond mastering a game. That is mastering the mind. In the fall of 2014, a few months after I started researching any of this, I came across an old ESPN The Magazine article that gave me my first real handle on this mountain of mind-brain information. It was a profile of the Seattle Seahawks. The headline, Lotus Pose on 2. The lead photo, Wilson doing yoga in full uniform. The story was about head coach Pete Carroll's overarching philosophy of a happy player is a better player, geared around Wilson and the Hawks using meditation, visualization, and yoga, their weekly meetings with a psychologist, how they cut practices short so players can get more sleep, how they play weird brain-training iPad games, and featured wide receiver Doug Baldwin throwing around words like prefrontal cortex. The writer described it all as a bizarro football world. The general consensus seemed to be that it was all some kind of hippie-like way of trying to do football differently. Nobody expected much out of the Hawks that year either, remember, or for Wilson to matter much as an NFL quarterback. So it's not all that surprising that the writer, and then the general public's reaction after the article ran, didn't know quite what to make of all.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.